Yo, welcome guys to another episode of these live crypto market analysis shows that we're doing every single week, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern here on Wolf, sponsored by Ostium. And we're gonna take a look at BTC. We've had some cool price action here recently, so we'll take a look at that. And we'll see if there's any insights on what might be coming next. So appreciate you guys jumping on. We'll jump into some stuff here. I'm just kind of making sure we got all the tweets out, making sure we got everything shared where we need to share it, and that way we can kind of focus in on these charts. So looks like we're good though. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio. Hopefully you guys are hearing me okay. Let me know in the chat if everything is coming through just fine. We should also be, I think it should also be sending it over to the YouTube side as well. So if anyone's over on YouTube, let me know how that's working out on that side as well. But man, yeah, it's been a busy day. It's been a busy week, but it's been good. It's been absolutely good. So cool. Let's look, I've got BTC on the screen here. Let me move over to a bigger version of that. There we go. This should give us a little bit more view of the chart, and we can start kind of breaking some of this down here. We'll do some high time frame stuff as we usually do. So we'll go back out. We'll start with like total crypto market cap. This is actually total divided by gold. Let's just go to the standard total, and we'll go from there. Give me one sec here. One sec. Cool. So this is the chart. And again, when I'm sharing these guys, like these aren't charts that I'm making just for the stream. These are the live charts that I'm using. These are the live drawings that I have. You guys get to see everything that I'm looking at. I really don't hold a whole lot back. Well, I really don't hold anything back when I'm sharing this stuff. What you see is what I'm looking at. So we'll see if something like this ends up playing out. We've had a significant move down on total crypto market cap. I do see this range here, this like volatility range that's in play. Depending on how you draw these, maybe there's an argument to be said that maybe that was the range and this was just a deviation above, but it really doesn't change the overall scene that we're looking at here for total crypto. So we're still kind of inside of this range. I'm looking for a potential bounce. I think you've got these big levels, monthly open, yearly open, slightly above us here. I think it makes sense after a big move like this that we get a little bit of relief. This could still need to come down a little bit though, right? Like the reality is that this could need to come down. Maybe it needs to take that low, move slightly below that, and then we see that reversal happen here on total crypto. And so, BTC will lead a lot of that move. But we could see some of these altcoins also give us a little bit of action. We could see that as well. So let's dive into stablecoin dominance. So stablecoin dominance is still moving to the upside. Actually had a pretty good move in the last day or so. Hasn't taken out that previous high. Definitely still pushing. So again, if you're not familiar, stablecoin dominance, when this is pushing higher, crypto is bleeding into stables, and when this is going lower, then this is rotating out of stables back into BTC, Ethereum, Solana, all of those types of things, right? So this is looking pretty healthy right now. Still have to be careful. This could still push a little bit more. So just another reason to be maybe a little cautious and not having super bullish expectations just yet is we could come down, we could sweep that on total crypto, and we could still sweep that high on stable coin dominance. So we'll keep an eye on it. Either way, I mean, I think this is due. I think this is due at some point, even if it does need to come and clean up to the downside a little bit. Like if this is the case, this is what needs to happen here, is we need to see one nice big move down here. Still doesn't really change what I'm seeing, which is I think that there's a little bit of a relief move that needs to happen at some point before you get that next massive leg down in this. So curious what you guys think, if you've been keeping up with this at all. And let me make sure we are good here. Yeah, I think we're good. Drinking a little bit of coffee. Drinking a little bit of coffee today. Never too late for some coffee. All right, cool. Yeah, looks like we are good. So, yeah, let's keep going through these though. So total crypto, not a whole lot else to really break down here. Let me get rid of some of these drawings, and maybe we can look at like a high time frame just to see if there's anything that maybe we're missing that we have not really identified here. So let's go like a quarterly view. Nah, look, this is still steady downtrending. No signs of real reversal on a quarterly chart. Let's go look at a 6 month. Yeah, this still has room. This still has room. This right here is interesting to me around this level or so, which would be about what 1.6, 1.68 or so on total crypto market cap, especially because what you basically had here is you had a sweep of this candle's range high. And, now potentially we're coming down here to take the low. So that's interesting. If we go to a 12-month, yeah, 12-month gives us even a little bit more room, since that essentially the same idea, right? Took the high. Now you're coming down here to grab this low. So you've got some room to the downside. Let me go back to that 3-month, and then we'll just put a nice little zone on there is what we'll end up doing. So let me see here. We're close to that though. On the 3-month, we're not that far. 3-month, we're almost there. So here we'll label this text 3-month, and then let's do the 6-month. We'll label this 6-month, and then this one we know is the 12-month. Okay. All right, so we got some levels to the downside that we can be watching here on this. We'll see how that does. And then you do have this. This is a huge area, right? This would be the single biggest pivot for all of this, which is the 2018 high with 2022 lows. So if it was to get all the way down here, this would be a massive level to be paying attention to for that. What's up, Ash? What's up, Ash? We got my brother Ash in the house. What's up, dude? Yeah, I still see some people coming through. All right, cool. Beautiful. So, Bitcoin coming down a little bit right now. Fun. Pulling down a little bit. Not, nothing crazy, but it is pulling down a little bit after it had a nice move. I'm just adjusting a quick trade, guys. Bear with me here. Bam. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah. Beautiful. We'll let that print. We'll let that bad boy print while we're looking at some of this stuff. All right, so coming back to the charts, let's jump into BTC. We'll zoom out, start on a weekly. BTC on the weekly. So nothing's really changed on the high time frame. Big zone above us is still previous year low right here between, call it 72 to 75. Big high time frame area, 74.5 previous year low. Beautiful little high time frame, low volume area right here at about 74K. Move up there, still something I'm entertaining, still something I'm watching for. Could be that we need to sweep these lows. Again, we've talked about that. Could be that we need to sweep the lows and then it goes up there. Otherwise, I would say the low that we put in last night or this morning needs to hold if it's not going to sweep for us to continue higher. So otherwise, it's like, just go rip the Band-Aid off, take that 59K, 60K low, and then we can have a move up. Otherwise, we've got plenty of room to the downside. This is the next big zone down here. Kind of be looking down here near, lower 50s into high 40s. Next big area to watch if we can't, just do a quick sweep and reclaim for higher, then yeah, we're looking down here for sure. But overall, just taking it week by week, level by level, looking at the daily closes. Right now, I am very closely watching this current daily close. I'd like to see this daily close stay above previous day low. We're down to a little bit over 2.5 hours. It's currently good. I'd like to see it hold that. No guarantee that it will. But if it can, I think it increases the probabilities that this low that was put in here holds at least until we get a move up near 67, 68. And then we'll see what happens as we approach up here, because this will definitely be the level to watch to the upside if we're going to get a trend reversal. We're going to see this. We need to see that flipped up here. So let's zoom into like a 4-hour, get a little more granular, and we can kind of see what that would look like. So this is that previous day low that we need, that we want to hold. Doesn't have to, right? Previous day low. But we would like for today's close to be above that. And I think if we can get that, it increases the probability. Again, it doesn't guarantee, but it increases the probability that this might stick. This might stick in the short term until we get a move up here, somewhere near 67, 68, potentially even the top of this range. And then we'll see how that plays out up there. Otherwise, though, if it's not going to hold above this, I think there's a really high chance it's going to come, it'll sweep that and potentially come down here to that wick low down there for BTC. What are you guys eyeing on that? Anyone have any comments, any questions? Ash, I'm curious if you're looking at any levels there in particular. I know you were actually kind of looking at the same idea, which was you kind of had this similar thought that we get a bounce and that there's still one more leg down that may not even take that out, right? It could just come down here, sweep yesterday's move down here, or this morning's, whenever that was, and then still kind of give us that move higher. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. That would give you that third drop, I believe, is what you were kind of looking for, if I'm not mistaken there. I think that's what you were looking at. Let me see here. Okay, let's see here. Coming back to the chart. Let's go into a 1 hour real quick. See how we're looking on a 1 hour. Yeah, see, we did come into this part of that range, which I think on the 15-minute, there's a fair value gap, right? That's where we rejected from. Yeah. So this is what I had on the screen when we first jumped on the stream. Came up here, beautiful little wick at the top, near the top of this previous swing here, right in this little fair value gap, which also happened to be a vector, unclaimed vector here. Beautiful, beautiful move. I mean, the signs were there that it would possibly get a little bit of weakness here. I think right now what I'm looking for is either does this just sweep here, like sweep this stuff, and then it has another push up, or is it going to want to come maybe a little bit deeper for that? Because there's a possibility that it could. I think I had mapped out something like this as a potential as well. If I had that somewhere right here. Yep. So basically that idea that it needs to come down here. Still could be doing that. Still could be doing that. Could also just do something up here and then come up and get one more push up, and then maybe it rolls over. There's a lot of ways that this can go. We'll just be kind of watching price action. We are running out of US session here, running into the gap. So not super eager to take a position until we see how Asia reacts here. But yeah, I don't think that this guarantees that it's absolutely going to make a new low just yet. But this was the level that we did want to see a break above, and haven't got it yet. We still have not got it. So we'll still be watching this level. This is still the big area overhead here in terms of local resistance that we want to see a move above. So let's see what happens here. What's up, Cade? What's up, Cade? Me and this guy, it's like we see each other all day, every day on spaces, streams, chats, everything. Everything. Never ends. Let's see here. Oh shoot, did I not repost the stream? What the heck? Why did I not repost that? Let's get this reposted. There we go. There we go. Some of these comments are hilarious. Just on the timeline. I'm just reading the timeline. Not on the stream specifically, but just general CT. CT's wild right now. Very cool. There is, by the way, tonight there's also, if you guys haven't already heard on Spaces today, but there's a State of the Union address that'll be happening tonight. So we'll see what comes of that. Could get interesting. I doubt it's going to be anything that's going to pump or dump anything immediately. If there's anything like that, we were just talking on one of the market talk spaces, but it's like if there's going to be anything like that, it's probably going to be due to the whatever this investigation is with Zach XBT or whoever that dude is, right? Like that's got a greater likelihood, in my opinion, than the State of the Union address of somehow moving market sentiment. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're coming down a little bit more on BTC here, so we'll let that kind of marinate. Levels to the downside, either it just takes out some of these lows here, or it makes the full move to down here. If it can't hold that, then yeah, it's probably going to take these lows, but we'll watch it. This to me looks like those typical pullbacks where you pull back and then it just slingshots from here. So we'll see if that's the case. Ethereum still slowly melting down. What is this yellow line? Previous year low or something, probably. Let's see here. No, this was probably like a 6-month or a 12-month range that we're looking at for ETH. So ETH's 2025 low is still down here. Ethereum still has a lot of room to go to the downside. Yeah, this thing does not look that great. Let's go look at ETH on, man, poor Tom Lee. Tom Lee has got to be feeling this. Like he's got to be sweating it for sure. Let's put up some of these things though, because they're just taking up a lot of screen real estate here. There we go. Yeah, ETH does not look great at all, especially if we invert that thing. I mean, this looks like it. Let's go to like a 3-month. Yeah, tell me, I mean, how can you be bullish on this? This thing looks like it just wants to rip to the upside when it's inverted, which is not good. This is not good at all. Oh, man, that's bad. A little bit of amino acids with some electrolytes. It's pretty good stuff. Because Ethereum basically just gave us a sweep of this previous low, the October 2021 high on this inverted chart. And then now it's ripping in the opposite direction. So yeah, look, initial targets for Ethereum. I think we're looking here, back at that like 1400 level down to, probably down to about 1,000, maybe a little bit under 1,000 is where we're initially looking for ETH. Does not look like it's going to let up anytime soon, though. This thing looks relentless in its pursuit of lower. Yeah, this thing is just ripping. Here, I'll clean up some of these levels here just so we can get a clearer view. Yeah, its only hope for not going significantly lower would be that it doesn't tap into this liquidity here. That it, for some reason, leaves that untouched and it just kind of, stalls somewhere up here and then it tries to come back. But even then, I mean, I really can't imagine it going much, like around here would be an interesting area possibly for a pullback. What does that put it at? 2,600, just based on, you've got a daily, what is this, a weekly fair value gap right here. So you got this imbalance here. So even if it just came to the 50% or so, then maybe you get a bounce on Ethereum there. But it's not looking great. It's not looking great. Daily. I mean, on the daily, you're still above previous day high on ETH. So that is something. So this could still reverse from here. Maybe make a move up to previous day high off of previous day low. Let's look at that a little closer. Okay, so essentially that move back up to here. Okay, yeah, if this can close above that, so you've got a little bit over 2.5 hours, or around 2.5 hours, a little bit under 2.5 hours. I mean, if ETH can hold, even if ETH moves below this, but if it can close above here, what is that level we need to be at? 1837. So as long as it can hold a close above 1837 today, I mean, there's a chance that, maybe this thing moves down and then just gets a little bit of like some slingshot action back up. And, initially a move probably about here. And then I think you'd probably then get some kind of pullback before you went significantly higher. But there could be some short-term intraday plays that you get, even some just session-specific plays. Like maybe something like this shapes up during Asia. You're able to kind of hit that entry after Asia comes online and then get a bit of an expansion. So we'll see what happens here on Ethereum. You do have some EMAs. 1 week rolling VWAP for ETH is up at 1923. You've also got some structure up here, which is cool. Let's look back. Yeah, this is actually an interesting level for Ethereum here, structurally speaking. Like that level. Watching that level there is interesting. You had some nice 4-hour lows and closes right here at about just shy of 2,000, 1900 to 1950. Had this failed attempt to push higher. Yeah, so even if this did, like even if you get this favorable close here, I think you got to be careful coming up here, and you do have that 1 week rolling VWAP. So any Ethereum long expectations, you have to factor this in, this level in here. And honestly, it might even be all of that. Yeah, we may just say it's all of that there, actually. So made it a little wider, but roughly around there. And then if you're lucky, you get that extension that goes up a little bit higher about there. So one way to maybe think about this is that, let's say it does hold, even if it has one more move down, it's able to hold. You're able to get a push up off of here. Initial reaction here at like 1920 is probably a rejection. But it could move you down, put you in a place of support, get some strength here. This then gives you an extension up. And then if you're bullish, you're hoping it holds this as support on the way down. So you'd be looking for it to hold this as support on the way down, maybe even consolidate here, do a little bit of a sideways chop so that you can then get that next move up. But this level is going to be interesting here for Ethereum. It's like 1920 zone for ETH is going to be interesting. Yeah, what's up, Crank? We got Crank in the house. What's up, dude? Send it sideways with haste. That is hilarious. Anon with the repost. What's up, Anon? What's good? What are you guys looking at today? How's everything, Crank? Now that you're back from vacation, man, how are you enjoying that? Is it weird, like getting back into a flow? I don't know if it'd been like a long time since you took a vacay, and I know sometimes, like if it's been a long time, it can be a little weird, And other times it's not, other times it's not, but sometimes it could be a little funky. Back and ready to rock, man. Had a killer stream. Oh, cool, man. So you're out for 2 weeks or longer. Interesting. Yeah. And it's harder nowadays anyways, right? I think with all the access to tech the way we have it, I mean, it really is hard to disconnect fully anyways. So, I think it kind of keeps you in the mindset where even when you're out, you're thinking about it, you're still doing a bunch of stuff anyways. So, makes it interesting. That's for sure. Should we look at LTC? LTC is probably not doing anything. I think at this point, like, man, if you're watching BTC to set the tone, set the direction, ETH and Sol are probably the ones I'd be watching for altcoins to kind of set the pace for alts. And then, there'll be some other ones that'll kind of follow and move after that. River is one that we've been watching on the Trader Talk spaces. This one Lisa actually found and introduced us to it, but it's been a mover. Took a river position here. I think we talked about this one on the Sunday space, which is actually sponsored by Ostium. So Ostium sponsors that weekly Sunday evening space right at Futures Open. And I think on that space I was looking at this and I found this one interesting because you have this beautiful little base that it's forming here. You had this previous low from when it first moved down, and then we had a sweep of that, and it immediately came back up and just kind of came back up into this range here. So I did take a position after that, and then I added to it on this pullback here. And so far, that's done pretty nicely. So it is moving away from entry. It's looking pretty good. This was TP1, so I was able to TP here. This is going to be my TP2 up here if I can get it up to about 13.5 on River. And then look, if it keeps going, next big target's going to be up here, around 22 or so for River. So if it gets going, man, that could be a real runner right there. So this was that the original? No, I had two other ones. Where'd they go? I must have deleted them. Well, I had two examples, right? I had one of if it just came here to TP1, and then I had another one side by side that was showing if it came to TP2 what this was, but you can just look at it there, right? That's basically it there. So if we can get it up here, be a nice trade. Currently, this is the trade that we've taken so far, and we're able to take profit on. man, if this thing got, if this thing got way the hell up here, that's a huge, huge, huge move. That would be beautiful. So we'll see if that's the case. For now, this has been a sweet trade. A few of the guys got in on that one as well, so it's looking pretty good. And really, what this is it's just a meaner version, right? It's just it extended. It was really extended to the downside. Even here at TP1, if it wants to roll over, that's fine. But if it wants to come up here, you kind of have like the low of this range right here, right? So it's kind of that low of the range. It was just looking for a move that went up there and then maybe just rejected, even if it comes back down. That was kind of the trade that we were looking for there on River. So yeah, nothing too crazy. It was just purely a technical play for me, based on the fact that it had come down, was building this base, and then a nice sweep to the downside. That was it. There was really no hype about it, no anxiety about it, no anything, man. This is just a boring execution on an idea of a swing failure, a quick little deviation below, and then just identifying some levels to the upside that I thought would be interesting if we were to get a nice little reversal. So, we took it. We took that trade, man. Crank says he loves leaving the charts and coming back. You get to see what most can't. Staying in the market too long will get you a bias mindset. Yeah, I agree with that, man. It does. It does. It absolutely does. Yeah, mental breaks are good, man. Whether it's like taking a daily mental break or taking the weekend off, or taking a week or two off, it definitely helps reset, man. That's why I like like I've got my little routine where during the day I've got some breaks between spaces and stuff like that where I'm able to go make myself breakfast, go outside, play with the dog, play with the kids for a bit, do something. Sometimes my kids are on the computer or on the sim racing setup. Tell them to scoot over. Let me get a lap in real quick. And sometimes I'll try and throw a quick lap on one of their sim racing games. Just quickly reset the brain every day. And then I like to, in the evenings, go walk the dogs, get some fresh air. I like those evening walks, though. It's just that nice, cool breeze at night. It's like it's not too cold, but it's cold enough. Cold enough to make you feel alive and remind you that you're alive. It's good stuff. But I am overdue for a trip, man. I need to go do a trip, whether it's up to mountains or it's beach or it's who knows, man. I'm definitely overdue. Nice little trip to go and relax and reset. What's BTC doing? Okay, so far, nice little push. Let's see if we don't get something like that down here. Here, I'm just gonna remove that for now. Ether. Yeah, not a whole lot else to look at. Solana, we can look at Sol. We've not really looked at Sol today. So if we zoom out Solana, I'll remove that so you guys don't get crazy. You guys don't get triggered. I know how y'all are. I know how you Sol maxis are. That way y'all don't get triggered. Look, I mean, Sol's pretty clear, right? This was the previous range. We're no longer in that range. So now we're trying to find something in all of this in terms of levels and supports and structure. Moves to the upside. This is going to be interesting. I don't think we get above that quite so easily, but we'll see. Lots of air to the downside. Lots of space. This isn't looking too bad, though. Took out this low here so far on the daily, 2 hours and 15. Same thing. I mean, same setup that we talked about with the other ones. This one actually looks a little bit better because you took out this low here. So you swept the low from beginning of the month. Still haven't really tapped into any liquidity from down here, right? So you haven't taken the big low, but you did sweep that low here. Today's candle is still currently inside the previous day. So inside of all of this, you still do have, where's my drawing tool? Bam. So you are still above previous day low. Let's go ahead and mark out previous day high. Okay. And we are back below 2024's low, but not by much. Not by much. We're rejecting from it currently, but not, it's not a big deal. I think as long as Solana, same thing, right? As long as it can hold above previous day low, I think it increases the probabilities of this sweep holding for a move back slightly higher. Not new all-time highs. I'm not calling for even a change in this downtrend just yet, but just for a move back up here. A little bit of a mean reversion play. Could probably throw a quick and dirty channel on this bad boy, and we're kind of looking at something like that. So, I mean, this would kind of be in line with this. You also have this little low volume area here on the profile about there, right? Which is kind of in line with this fair value gap on a 4-hour, or what's left of it here, right? So you've got a little bit of that there. Yeah, I mean, what's to say Solana can't do something like this? Comes up, I don't know, boom, and then still gives us another short, comes, then works its way towards this low. Something like that. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that's that crazy. Moves up here, doesn't quite hit the previous day high, but it gets near it. Something like that. If you happen to get an overextension and it works its way up here, it could do that as well. You do have another nice little gap up here, which is also worth paying attention to as well. Really, to break, I mean, you got to start making some big progress above here to really start kind of shifting some of this. I don't know how likely that is just yet. Yeah, but we'd have to make some progress above that. And then you do have that little gap up here as well, which is interesting. And then above that, you've got this high of the range. So maybe something like that for Sol. And then this one, depending on how high that goes, could be here, could be there. The higher it goes, I mean, you start increasing the probabilities that maybe this comes down and doesn't quite break back into this, and kind of tries to do something like that. Maybe if it can get enough distance here, that's not impossible. But I think this is probably the more likely for now. And all of this is really, I mean, you do have the bear scenario, which is that we're about to do this, and that none of this is going to play out, and that you're just about to that was it, and you're about to take the lows and head towards, potentially that. Like that's the bear case, right? So, let's see here. You try to take a trip every 90 days, whether it's local or a wicked one. That's awesome, man. I can't remember if you told me, man, if you I think you guys homeschool and stuff too, if I'm not mistaken, but take it, dude. Yeah, I gotta take them. Dude, I'm just a workaholic, bro. It's I don't know, dude. I come from Hispanic family that just always grinding, always working. My grandparents on my mother's side, business owners as far as I can remember. My grandpa built his own house with his own hands, built his own house, built 2 houses actually. and then built a shop, and they ran like a convenience store for forever. I remember they had that little convenience store. It was just always working, dude. There wasn't a single day. It was rare for them to like shut down the shop, you know. And then on my dad's side, same thing. My dad's dad, my grandpa, dude was just a lifelong businessman, entrepreneur, man. Dude had his own ranch, had livestock, had agriculture stuff that he did, right? Farmland. Um, Owned a theater, owned a convenience store, owned a gas station. Just always, dude, it was always working. Like the family's always been working, dude. And that's just how I grew up, man. My dad always worked. My mom always worked. Since I was a young kid, I was always working. While I was having kids and stuff, I was always working. Just always, never stop, man. It's never stop. So it's hard. It is hard for me to kind of just change that, like make that flip in my brain of, hey, you know, chillax a little bit, you know. For the soy latte, that's hilarious. What's up, Enrique? What's up, man? Soy on the daily time frame, huh? What are you saying there, Ash, for soy latte on the daily time frame? Let me go look at that. Let me hide some of this stuff just so it's not noisy. Yeah, what are you seeing on this? I mean, clear, you know, this is clear, lower high, lower low, but we did just sweep this here, right? So I'm looking at it as like, even though this is the true range low, this here did tell us that this was like the internal range, right? This is where we're kind of compressing here, right? And we did just take that low. I mean, I think there's a possibility. Again, my criteria is it's got to hold previous day low. If it can hold previous day low, I think there's a chance that this next daily candle comes up and tries to get up to this previous day high. Whether it gets there all the way or not, I don't know, but I do think there's a decent chance. And then again, my assumption is most likely that this continues doing this, right? So a move there would just potentially yield to a lower low anyways on Solana. And at some point, I do think that there is a move back up here. I really do. I do think that at some point, whether it comes and takes this low before that happens or not, you know, we'll see. I do think at some point this thing goes up. I really do. And as I've already shared, I don't think that level is going to be a level that we're going to quickly get back, get any kind of acceptance back above. I really don't. This is a massive level. That doesn't matter how you draw it. Doesn't matter what time frame you look at it on. This 120 to 125 is a massive area to try and get back above. Just look at this. I mean, look at all those closes there. Look at all these wicks here, closes. Look at that. I mean, it's a massive, this level, man. I don't think Solana maxis are truly appreciating how hard it's going to be to get back above that level. And if it does, though, if by some miracle this thing gets acceptance back above this, then I think there could be an interesting move coming. There could be a very interesting move, because this would ultimately just be a deviation below this massive range. And that would be wild. I don't think that's the likely outcome. You know, I don't assign it or give it a lot of probability, but I can't say it's impossible. I can't say that there's a 0% chance that this gets up and does something like that. Like, I can't say that. There's always a possibility, right? I just think it's unlikely. This, to me, just looks like this is going to be Solana's worst nightmare if it gets an opportunity to get back up here. This right here is going to crush some people, in my opinion. And it's probably what's going to lead to significantly lower down here, like some of these levels that no one wants to look at or talk about, maybe even some down here. We'll be wild, man. We'll be absolutely wild. And in that whole process, we'll have some trades we can take. Well, you know, it doesn't go up in a straight line, doesn't go down in a straight line. We'll take some trades. That's the one, he says. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Let me know if you want to stream this this weekend, Ash, if you're around. I know we didn't do one this last weekend, But if you want, if you're down to run one this Saturday, your Sunday, let's go on the calendar. Let's knock one out. Phil says, I see you guys are watching the potential inverse head and shoulder as well. Shoot, Phil. On which chart, dude? On which chart are you talking about, Phil? I am horrible about looking at retail patterns and like identifying them. You know, like when I'm intentionally looking for it, I will see them. But otherwise, I'm horrible. Sometimes people are like, oh, you know, there was a head and shoulder or this or that. And I'm like, where? I'm usually not paying attention to retail patterns. Trading where Richard said, who could possibly look at the charts and forecast anything for October? I think that's ridiculous. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that we can, man. We can. I mean, we can through the sense of like saying, okay, here's the historical data, but none of us really know, man. No one knows what we don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, let alone, trying to predict what's going to happen in a month or two or a few. Pretty rough. Let's see here. Ghosty is looking at, Ghosty's almost at 1,400 followers. Hey, if you are listening, go give Crypto Ghosty 333 a follow at Crypto Ghosty 333. He's almost there. He's trying to get to 1,400. A little bit shy. Ash, bullish on Solana. Send it. Ooh, let's see. 53 seconds ago. Are you serious, Ash? Let me see here. Is this inverted? Oof. This guy. I should have known. Oh my god, that is an awesome. That is epic. That is epic. Yes. That is repost worthy. For sure. Yeah, that is good stuff, man. That is so funny. So funny. That's hilarious. Inverted Solana chart. It's hilarious. This guy basically has this here. He basically has this. He's got a nice little thing like that, basically saying, "Yep, bullish on Solana. Send it." Oh, that's hilarious. But it is. I mean, if you didn't have all these expectations and this bias and all, you weren't holding bags and all of that. This is what your brain is telling you is likely playing out here, right? So that's likely what it's playing out. Isn't this what they call like the Adam and Eve, anyways? Isn't this a big bottoming reversal type of thing? I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not super versed on retail patterns. I really just know how to speak about horizontals and channels and diagonals, and that's it. Some people are reposting that, by the way, because I retweeted it. Ash, I don't think they're looking at the price scale, which is so weird to me that someone would pull up a chart, look at the picture, and then just hit like, oh yeah, that looks great, and not look at the price scale. Like, that's the most important thing on the whole chart is the price scale. It's it is wild, dude. Absolutely wild. Yeah, people would get so mad when they'd realize that a lot of my charts were inverted. It's like, dude, it's not my job to hold your hand. You know what I mean? You should not look at a chart. If you're just looking at a chart for this, it's like you're reading picture books, dude. The information that matters is over here on the side. Like, this is what you want to be looking at, and then this time down here is what your XY. Come on. You gotta have all the details. You can't just be looking at this. Now, looking at just this by itself is a good exercise in terms of just removing bias, like not knowing what it is, not knowing what the dollar amount is, not knowing the time, and just simply practicing looking at this, and you just making observations about it and telling me what you think is happening. What are some levels that are likely to hold or not hold? Like, this is good, but this is like the information that matters. So this is what you want to know. You want to know where am I at on the price scale? Where am I at on time? You know, what's the instrument that I'm looking at? Crazy stuff. This does look, though, right? If I invert Solana, this does look like it needs to come down a little bit. It really does. You know, if I look at it on a 4-hour like this, I mean, tell me this doesn't look like, man, it just needs a little bit of a cool off. This is like starting to look like what is this, like the Chinese dragon pattern or something like that. It's like you've got the tail of the dragon over here, all this, the body, the legs. This is like the head of the dragon. What does that mean? I don't know. Is that a retail pattern? Where does the dragon go next, man? But yeah, again, at some point, I think this needs to revisit down here. I really do. Even on the inverted chart, at some point, this to me seems like it makes sense that at some point there's a revisiting of this zone before you get something like that. It just really seems like that to me. This is a huge zone for us to not give it a test from the underside. It's a massive zone. How would we not come to give it a little touchy? You know? You're going to be dev engine oz.sol soon. That would be so funny, dude. I should pick up a .sol address as well while I'm at it, huh? That's funny as hell. You want a BTC long? It's so slow. Look, I think there is... we got to come back for a little late short pinch. I agree. Look, as far as BTC, okay, if you want a BTC long at this point, I think there's only really two ways to long this here inside of this current structure. Either you're waiting for this thing to come probably back here, you know, kind of around this range high, right? So if you look at this range here, if you look at this little sideways range here, right, the main thing to focus on is where was the high of that range, which is about there. Okay, this is kind of like the high of the range. It's also where your volume profile starts to kind of come back in, right? Notice that above this, volume profile really kind of goes flat, and here volume starts coming in, okay? So identify range high, and then also look for any inefficiencies like this. Like here we've got this green vector candle, which also left a nice little gap down here. So this area to me, right where the volume is on the profile, this area is interesting to me. So if, oops, didn't mean to change the screen. If we were to get a move back in here, this potentially could be a place to look for some short opportunities for a continuation move just back up here. Now, you have to be careful. Like if you did get something like this, how would I draw this? Like let's just, I'm going to put a quick and dirty channel on here because I don't know where that low is going to be, but let's just assume we're able to get some kind of move like this at some point, and we're able to put a channel on this similar to this. You have to be careful because, oops, even a move back to the top of the channel still kind of runs you right into this level that we've been watching. So it still doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the breakout here and that you're going to shift the structure. It would, though, at this point, be putting in higher lows. And if you do get the full extension up, let's say you get the extension up here, you are putting in a higher high relative to this. So you are still trending up. So even if that rejected here, initial reaction is a rejection here, then you're looking for higher low continuation, right? So at that point, you know, could you come back maybe to these highs here and find a bounce there? And then that's the one that takes you up. You've got this beautiful 1 week rolling. By then it's probably come across something like that. That gives you a rejection up there. And then maybe you go into a period of like consolidating here a little bit before it picks whatever that next direction is going to be. That could happen. So again, like two ways I'm willing to long BTC here. Like if I wasn't already in from the low, I'm either waiting for a deeper pullback here, or I'm waiting for this thing to come higher. Ideally, it has to come well above this red zone here. So I might need to run into that 1 week up there. And then I want to see it build a base on top of all of this. So, you know, if it went up there, you know, and look, I'll draw it a couple different ways. This were to come up here and it starts just kind of chopping higher above this stuff. If at some point it comes back and it does a pullback like that, I'm willing to long it off of like a move like that. You know, we'll put this below some kind of structure and then we'll be targeting up here, right? So I'm willing to long it like that. This, if it doesn't chop, right? Like let's say it just goes vertical for whatever reason, whether this comes down here and then it just goes straight up, same idea. On a pullback, I'd be looking for opportunities to take along somewhere in this neighborhood, right? But you're going to wait. You're going to wait for structure to establish. You're going to wait for volume. Like you're still looking for all the same things. You're not just aping into longs just because we're above this. Like that's how these breakout guys get so wrecked, is they see price, you know, price starts moving into an area like this, goes slightly above it. I mean, it goes like a freaking millimeter above it. Oh, we're breaking out. And then it just gets slapped right back down. And they got screwed because they're trying to breakout trade this stuff. I you know, maybe some people make money with that. I have not found a way to be consistently profitable with breakout trades. I struggle. I lose more money than anything trying to breakout trade. What works for me is the pullbacks. I wait for the big moves. I wait for the retests, and then I play those. And a lot of times it means I miss the initial move. I miss the initial move, wait for the retest, and then I play that remainder of the move, right? That's what works for me. This is how I've figured out how to have positive experiences in trading, is I wait for that initial move. So here, it's kind of the same concept down here. Same thing, right? This is gone now. Initial move is pretty much done here. Now you're waiting for a pullback, whether that's somewhere right here, just, you know, to these lows, whether it's down here to this zone I have marked in gray. Like you're waiting for a pullback, and then you're going to look for a setup to try and get the next impulsive move that'll come out of that next leg up, right? So that's how I would be looking at that. Cool. So we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get something like that. With that, guys, again, want to shout out Ostium for sponsoring this show, for Wolf for allowing me to jump on here, do this stuff for you guys. There is a link below this stream. If you've not checked out Ostium, go check that out. Use that link that I dropped in there. Very, very cool way to trade on chain and have exposure to TradFi. So a lot of people right now are talking about gold and silver and oil and all these things. Well, look, if you don't want to go open up a IRA or Robinhood or something else, go check out Ostium. You can use your crypto to do some TradFi trading, all on chain, all while self-custody. You know, go check it out. You may like it. I like it. I think it's a really cool site. Really, really great platform. Running on Arbitrum. So it's nice, speedy, it's fast, it's cheap. It's great. How are we doing on time, guys? All right. Well, we're at the hour, fellas. So we are going to wrap up here. I may be able to jump back on later tonight on my personal page. I don't know what time exactly. If I do, it might be around Asia Open or so, if we do throw one up, and maybe look at the market a little bit. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow with some, Trader Talk Spaces during the daytime. There's also a market analysis stream with Lady Trader tomorrow. And I'm trying to think of what else we got going on tomorrow. I think it's just Spaces, one stream, and then I'll do another evening stream for you guys tomorrow as well. Plus all the Twitter posting and all that other good stuff that we do anyway. So, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning into these. These are always a lot of fun for me. I get to look at these charts, and a lot of times I'm just doing live analysis. Like I'm looking at these live. This isn't something that I'm scripting ahead of time. I'm not trying to present like a show here that some highly produced. No. This is all just live, raw, me looking at this stuff. Sometimes I'm getting the aha moments while I'm doing these because I'm just breaking it down. These help me, and hopefully they help you guys as well. With that, I think we're going to call it. We're going to call it there. Yeah, appreciate you guys that jumped on. Appreciate you guys that were engaging and commenting. We'll see you guys on the next one. Be safe, trade safe. We'll see you.